Hello everybody, Gamma Brace here. So, I've been playing themsfightinherds for a pretty long time now. Another thing I've been doing is playing with a lot of different controllers. Not just with themsfightinherds, but a lot of other fighting games. In this video, I specifically want to talk about what controller is the best to use for playing themsfightinherds. Now keep in mind, this is all just my opinion. Whatever controller you use is perfectly fine for the game, because, you know, after all, it's all up to personal preference. But I'll be going over pad, arcade stick, and a Hitbox Style controller, doing combos with each of them, and seeing which one has better advantage, or how it feels, or what you can expect going into one of them. Because I think each controller has its advantages and disadvantages. Each one is nice to use, and it's good to experiment with them every once in a while. Because who knows, you might want to try an arcade stick one day, or a Hitbox Style controller one day. Well, without further ado, let's take a look at the controllers we'll be using. So the first controller we'll be looking at is pad type controller. It's just the standard PS4 controller that you get with the console. Standard stuff. You have all your face buttons here, L1, R1, L2, R2. And for themsfightinherds, you're only going to be using these buttons primarily. And your choice between whether you want to move with the D-pad or the joystick. It's pretty comfortable, feels good in your hands. You have the access to the buttons very easily, very quickly. It's a very good controller to use. And since it comes with the system, you won't really need to change for a while. You could just really cruise with this for a while, and only change if you want to try experimenting with different kinds of controllers. But all in all, pad, not bad at all. The next controller we'll be talking about is the Razer Kitsun. It's a all-button Hitbox Style controller, and it came out August of last year. It's only compatible with the PS5 and PC though. Unfortunately not PS4 compatible. But I think it's a very good Hitbox Style controller. The buttons feel nice. They're very responsive. They also use a certain type of micro switch, a certain keyboard switch. And it's all around good. The only thing is the price, but this isn't just about this controller specifically. It's about Hitbox Style controllers as a whole. So if you can get used to this layout and having jump down here, which for me that was a big adjustment. That was definitely something I had to get used to. It's a very good controller to have. I feel like you could do a lot of stuff faster with this, especially in games like Street Fighter. And last but not least, a good old-fashioned arcade stick. This is the Hori Fighting Pro Alpha, but this is the Street Fighter 6 edition I got as a gift. And it's your stock standard arcade stick, but it has, since it's Hori, it has a different set of buttons, a different stick. So it has the Hori stick and the Hori Hayabusa buttons, which are very good buttons, in my opinion. Now this controller as well is compatible with PS5, but is also compatible with PS4 and PC. But the main important thing that gives it an edge up over the Kitsun is that it is also PS4 compatible for people that haven't upgraded to next gen yet. So I think that's good for those people that still have a PS4, that play things like Street Fighter 6, or still have Guilty Gear Strive, and they're still able to play with this arcade stick. Now, in my opinion, all these controllers are perfectly fine. Although, I'm pretty sure, as everyone knows now, I am much more of a Hitbox user. I used to be purely arcade stick. That was my go-to. I used arcade stick for every single fighting game I used. I barely touched pad after I'd gotten my first arcade stick, but then when I switched to Hitbox, it was a huge jump. I was doing a lot of things faster, after I got used to the learning curve I had, which was mainly getting used to pressing down for jump, after getting used to that, things got a little easier. It just takes time to get used to, because it is different. But when you get used to it, you'll be doing really well with it. Alright, so first I'm going to try pad, because I'm the most unfamiliar with it. I have not played themsfightinherds with pad as long as I've been playing with stick or a Hitbox Style controller. So let's see how we do a combo with it. Not too bad. It's definitely weird for me. And I'm used to having a flat surface, just laying my hands down on it, just tapping away. But let's see. There we go. It's not too bad. Again, if I just start playing with pad again, I could definitely get used to it. But when it comes down to all the controllers, this one is definitely my weakest one. But it is still fun to use. So if you still use pad, that's good. Alright, the next controller we're going to use is the Hori Alpha Pro. So arcade sticks, again, this is what I first went to when trying out controllers, or different arcade controllers I should say. This isn't my first stick, but it definitely became one of my favorites as I used it. So let's go. Oh, that combo was not good at all, but that was better. That was nice. So yeah, arcade stick, this feels a lot nicer to me. This is more of what I'm used to. Yeah, I've been using stick for years now. Because since I switched to stick, I have not been using any kind of pad controller. So, yeah, stick is a lot of fun too. So I definitely recommend you try an arcade stick if you have the opportunity to. And now we're on to my favorite, Hitbox Style controllers. So we have the Razer Kitsun right here. Hitbox Style controllers have become my absolute favorite. I feel a lot better playing on these. Again, it's a big learning curve, but when you get used to it, it can really be a lot of fun. Now, of course, there's a lot of contention with some people calling these controllers cheat box controllers because of some of the advantages you can have when playing other fighting games. Stuff like Capcom Cup, changing the rules so you have down and up. There was an update that came out for this specific controller where when you press down and up, it defaults to jump, which used to be the old way of how the controller is supposed to be. But now with Capcom official tournaments, when you press down and up, you are not supposed to be jumping at all. But for any other fighting game, it's completely fine. So you can go as crazy as you want. And for themsfightinherds, it's a lot of fun. Now again, it's all up to personal preference, but if I'm going to be comparing all these controllers, we're going to start with pad first, and I'll give my thoughts on how I feel about that. So starting with pad, there's absolutely nothing wrong with using pad. It's a good controller. The PS4 controller is honestly a really good controller in my opinion to use. It's comfortable, the buttons feel nice. The D-pad is fine. When playing fighting games, I always switch between the two, honestly, but I see myself going more towards D-pad. all the buttons feel nice. But after using stick for so long and playing a ton of other fighting games that require the L1, R1, L2, R2 buttons, it's nice on arcade sticks and Hitbox Style controllers to have all the buttons just laid out face first, and I can just bing bam boom, just press them like that. So fortunately pad is still last place for me, but again, it's a good controller. If you like it, that's all that matters. Now arcade sticks, I really enjoy using still. I enjoy using the stick. These buttons specifically are very nice. But of course there are other arcade sticks with different kinds of buttons, different kinds of sticks. Like there's Sanwa, there's Kwanba. You have a lot of variety with arcade sticks when it comes to buttons, when it comes to switches, when it comes to sticks themselves. And you can really customize it and make it your own. Like you can swap out the artwork for this if you want to. So there's a lot of customization you can do with arcade sticks. So if you want to try a new way to play, I definitely say give arcade stick a try. It can be a lot of fun. And finally, Hitbox Style controllers. This has been all around my favorite kind of controller to use for the past few years when it comes to fighting games. They're a lot of fun to use. While it does take a while to get used to, there is a lot of satisfaction to get out of it, and the potential you can unlock with this kind of controller is a lot, especially with certain kind of fighting games you play. But for themsfightinherds specifically, honestly, I would pick this one for themsfightinherds. I feel like I get my inputs out much faster, especially with Oleander when I do the magic bomb setup and all that. It's a lot more fun using this controller doing all that compared with the others. I feel like I barely mess up on this controller as well, despite with the practice I was doing with it that you'll see in the video. But this controller is all around a lot of fun, and this would be my top pick for themsfightinherds. So all in all, the reason I really wanted to make this video was because controllers and arcade sticks is something I'm actually very passionate about. I tinker a lot with them, I customize them for fun. I do a lot with them. And themsfightinherds is my favorite fighting game. So I just wanted to give some insight on how I enjoy the game with what controllers I use. But again, this is all just my opinion. Definitely use whatever controller you're most comfortable with. But also, don't be afraid to try new controllers out. You'll definitely be surprised with what you might like. Well, that's going to be it for me. If you guys enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate it if you liked the video. And comment on what controller you use. Do you use just a normal pad controller? Do you use Hitbox? Do you use arcade stick? Or something else unique I might not even know about? I'd love to know more about what kind of controllers people are using. Also be sure to subscribe. I have a lot of content planned, so if you want to be notified when they come out, hit subscribe, hit the bell, so you'll be notified of when my new videos come up. And until next time, take it easy, y'all.